This is in a folder with potentially other shit. There it is. All right. Yeah, this is the file I used to use for tracking all this crap. Back when I still had frames to get. So I was sitting here tracking. The nice part about this is you can tell. So each frame has its information. And this is for base frames. This is not even for primes, by the way. I don't have Dante or Jade on here. Yeah, this was a complete, like, here is like what you got to do for it. There's the materials and then the time, and then a way to track what all you need still. If you can't tell, I love my spreadsheets. Let's get out of Cetus. Oh, dude, I've got spreadsheets for days. Here's a good one. This was for Pokemon. If anyone out there is a fan of whiskey, this was one for my whiskey collection, which I really need to fucking update. I really need to fucking update. Because not everything's on here. What? No. That's actually not even the right price. Right price was... There we go. Yeah, there's a few more expensive ones that need to go on this list. Oh, you should see some of the advanced Excel foo I can do now. I mean, I'm doing shit like... Oh god, I gotta remember all the bits equals. Like sequence 10. Isn't it sequence? Lambda. But anyways, I'd have to sit and try to remember it, but I'm talking about getting to the point of doing loops in Excel. Normally, Excel does not have a loop function, which, considering how much Excel is just coding, essentially, it's weird that they don't have one. But using a combination of, I think it's sequence and lambda, and I think something else, you can effectively do a loop. And I had kind of given myself a set of problems just when I was practicing Excel one day. It's like, okay, here's a set of problems, figure out how to solve these in Excel. And one of the problems required a loop. Because, like, from a programming perspective, a loop would have made it so easy. Trying to figure out how to do it without a loop was a bitch. I cannot show you my most complex spreadsheets. Those are on my work computer. Oh, there are tutorials all over you. Where do you think I learned this shit? All right. I am not doing that. Kiss my ass. So back over to the heck. There's so many of the shotgun ones. Fucking the headshots. Extinguished. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's see. What should we got for pistol? Oh, there, we can finally do that one. Do that too. Next. That'll work. I just realized I have no idea how fucking Extinguished Dragon Teeth gonna feel on Steel Path.
These foes deserve your respect. Honor them with quick deaths, and I with your victory.
I don't have to maintain an exactly 6x combo, do I?
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Oh, I'm in the thing.
remain secure from the grasp of the idol. The idol always move forward. Move forward.
Yeah, coin, bitch.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. You have broken their ranks and they are on the run. Another successful mission. Find extraction.
For like one, maybe two tasks in the entire game. Otherwise, absolutely not. Man, this is a fun challenge. Fucking going into Still Path with an Extinguished Dragon Key makes Still Path fucking hard again. Well, I don't want to say hard, but it adds that extra challenge because it drastically reduces your damage.
Your will was greater. This is good.
I don't know what happened with that combo. I'm gonna be mad if you were supposed to stay at exactly 6. That's gonna be a bitch to do. I already had an Archoplasma or... Yeah.
As ready as you will ever be.
I can do that. Active pet present. Okay, there has to be something I'm missing on that. Let's see, ribbon. Jumbo. Active pet. Okay, so I can't use you, apparently. All right. Oh, let's take this off. Good, otherwise. Let's run that one back again. Let's run it back.
Your weapons make music, and the enemy calls for a song.
Oh. Yep, now that's done. Okay, cool. Not lucky. Done on that one.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Right on, Satan.
Harvest Granon, your sacred tokens shall remain secure from the grasp of the eye. No!
Where you going, bud? I think not. So much easier without that key on, man. Oh,
Robots inbound.
Kaboom. I love just murder, murder, murder. God, I love Clairville.
Broken their ranks and they are on the run. Another successful mission. Find extraction.
Thank you, sir. Another 3 ribbons completed. I might as well while we're here.
For incoming support.
It's 6 minutes. Why does it feel like Acolyte spawn has been... It heard me shit talk. It heard me... No, it felt me about to shit talk it. Didn't I need to borrow a little bit from you there? Biatch. That is when you retreat to fight another day. Oh, y'all are stuck down there? Let me help you out. There you go. Boom.
Was greater. This is good.
God, that is like the second Sestra one I've gotten. Depending on its Riven disposition, that could be really fucking spicy. I think the rest of these I pretty much have to go back. Fish, we can do again. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of doing those, but I don't have any more rifle ones right now. Oh, I know I could cheese the shit out of that. Let's see what this is real quick. Okay, we can cheese that real quick.
Operator, the system needs you. Will you begin another mission?
What is this thing's...
Please return.
That's the Fenmore.
Blood.
What's the Felarx one? Also low. Damn. What we're about to try... Who do I want to use? Yeah, while I think about the defense one, let's go do the wall latch one. Oh, where has my Zephyr gone? Oh, where can she be? You're about to learn how to cheese the ever-living crap out of anything that tells you to wall latch. I don't really want to call it a cheese because it's just she tends to have... Well, actually, you know, we'll even upgrade this more. Oh, latch. Everything in this. Remember to put Constitution back on. Sure. Capture. Let's go do Hydra. That's fine. Is there going to be enough in it? There should be.
Lay 'em low and burn their shadow. Later.
What's there you need help with? Oh, sweet Jesus.
We received intel that somebody vital to enemy operations is here. Find them and capture them. You found a target. Capture them quickly before they escape. Scans indicate our target is in the vicinity. Find them. We've got robots inbound.
Boom. I was like, where the hell were my tornadoes at? Yeah. That's
Stay
on your
focused.
ass.
There's a heavy unit approaching. Mission complete. The captive has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done.
Oh shit. Whee! I'm fast as fuck, boy. Send me ye olde invite. Survival. Bop, 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 bop. We're up. Which node? Uranus. Still path. Let's go to your anus. Survival. Which one? This one. Philia. Oh.
Stand by while I analyze
A second.
the intelligence profiles of the Grenier. Error, not a number. Did the operator enjoy this witticism?
Just drop blade on. Alright. No, sorry, corrosive. Orc brain. Yep. Just make sure to stay close to me. Don't go wandering off. Not that I think you can't survive, it's just when doing any survival missions, you want to stick close together so you keep all the spawns concentrated in one spot. Wander off, you break up the spawns. Ugh.
Accept your death, and you may yet avoid it. Trust in your training.
Alright, follow me for a moment. We're gonna move to a different spot.
They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
Ooh, this is actually one of my favorite spots for the survival in this tile set. Alright, we good. Now we chill. And I get to whip him. We're just unlocking the node for you. Just gotta be here for 5 minutes. And we can 22 skidoo.
Ready for a capsule.
Yeah. Close.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
I whip my Grenier back and forth. I whip my Grenier back and forth.
Life support incoming.
What can they do for you, smoke strings? But they're up there too. Back away, Satan. That's the best way to put this. 1 second. Stay still for me, please. There's something uniquely funny about being able to string them up. On one hand, technically every frame in the game both can and has been brought all the way to level cap. Somebody has brought every frame to level cap. But that comes with one gigantic asterisk with it. And that is going to level cap with frames that aren't particularly suited for it is difficult, usually requires some relatively complex and expensive builds. But again, it is entirely possible to do. I have not personally tried to go to level cap much. The only frame I've ever taken to level cap is Revenant. I've never found much of a reason for going to level cap. It's cool to do at least once to say you've done it. But again, it's one of those situations where there's not a huge amount of benefit. And the only reason I eventually did end up doing level cap is because Still Path Void Cascade is an amazing way to get arcanes and earn platinum. All right, let's go ahead and head out. Sugek. Now, in terms of Rhino himself, like I said, I've never taken him, but I've played with many of frames whose main survivability comes from Overguard. And while Overguard is good, it is nowhere near as good as Shield for survivability. And the reason for that is shield gating. Overguard gating is a thing. It wasn't originally. Originally, Overguard didn't have a gate to it. Or in other words, when it ran out, when shields run out, there's a moment of invulnerability, which you can make even better. But Overguard didn't have it originally. Now it does. The problem is Overguard does not come back on its own, nor do we have arcanes and mods and things that can get your Overguard back instantly like we do when you're working through shield gating. Now, Rhino still does have shields, memory serves. Frame from Rhino that can gate with Iron Guard. Sugek, legitimately, man, I hate them too. Arcwing is going to be a better drop rate. It really is. The Tellurium drop rates on these are low. Very low. But there's your unlock node. Let me swap over to Ryan real quick. By Iron Guard, are you talking about Overguard? Yeah, there's others. The reason Overguard even has gating is because of Calervo. It's not because of Rhino, it's because of Calervo. So Rhino is not the only one who can. Yeah, it's less than 2 seconds. It's short as shit. So what you have to understand with a frame like Rhino is, in most things, his survivability is amazing. Dante Gaming, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. We're talking about Rhino at level cap. His survivability in most things is amazing. But if you've not played up that high before, I don't know your personal experience, how high you've played, but getting even to the upper hundreds, let alone thousands, especially on Still Path, which there's never a reason to go to level cap in regular. There's just really not any. that 30k overguard, I've seen higher. I've seen over 100,000 overguard on Rhino before. The thing is, even that much overguard, and you can get some absurd amounts of overguard. You can, but overguard gets destroyed quick. Now, having said that, most of the time in doing level cap runs, you're not going to be relying on overguard for your survivability. More than likely, you're going to be subsuming on something to help. In doing stuff like that, it's often helpful to have things that slow enemies or stop them shooting at you. For example, you know, my level cap Zaku build relies on invisibility through Ivara's subsume. Stomp augment. I haven't played Rhino much, so I can't speak on his builds. The only build that I run for Rhino is just for index. That's the only thing I use Rhino for. Stomp augment. Let's see. Stomp is that one. Let me look. Like I said, I am not the person to really ask about Rhino stuff for the most part. Sure. I always fucking flip the H in the I, and I have no idea why. Let's take a look at Stomp specifically and its augment. Stomp. Let's see, augments. I mean, that could help. But again, you have to understand at level, especially getting close to or at level cap, you'd be amazed how fast those enemies will rip your overguard off. And like I said, my Rhino is 100% just for index. I don't have a lot of experience running Rhino outside of that, or let alone trying to run Rhino in level cap. For level cap, I pretty much 100% use Revenant. Because Revenant is just, it's brain dead level easy in terms of you cast as 2 and then yeah, you're good. You know, you're good for a lot longer. Most of what I see in level cap, Still Path, Void Cascade is usually a decent bit of Revenants and then also Titanias for getting between places fast, which is heavily needed a lot of times. I don't remember seeing much Rhino in it. No, it's not. Again, it's not to say you can't do it, but okay. And my stream's about helping people, so you come in with help. That's what I'm going to try and do. Like I said, I don't have much knowledge. I don't run Rhino very much. I tend to run Revenant. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, that's my opinion on it. For anyone else watching who's not just trolling, yeah, Rhino, I mean, he's great. Rhino, for most things, Rhino's great. He's often overlooked because there are other frames that do what Rhino does better, or I don't want to say better, so much as usually the builds are easier, less expensive, or potentially the frames have other abilities that they're good for. Everybody has the frames they like, and if you like them and you can run them in whatever you want to run them in, and you're good and you don't deter the team, I'm definitely the opinion, run what you want to run. I've had missions where Oberons have out damaged and murdered me. I wouldn't say very overlooked. I mean, he is, but there are even better frames that are so heavily underrated and overlooked. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When people specialize in a frame, you'd be surprised how fucking good they can get with them. And, you know, when they combine them with everything, and that's another thing that often gets a lot of newer players is builds aren't usually just the frame. It's everything else. Now, I mean, you have to be honest though. Revenant is the best at pure survivability from a I'm going to cast an ability that stops me from dying. Rhino's not bad, and I'm not trying to downplay Rhino, but Revenant doesn't really take any work, effort, or Revenant's build is Mesmer Skin. Is the Mesmer Skin on it. That's it. It just the only thing else that anything does is either adding more strength can just add more charges of Mesmer Skin. You know, it's just easy. Revenant is just easy. That's actually why I tend not to recommend him to new players, because it can really hurt your progression and ability in Warframe, because it is so easy, because you don't have to worry about damage, that it can actually be a detriment. Yeah, while Rhino's good and his Overguard can be absolutely absurd, the rest of his kit doesn't scale that well. It's okay, but it doesn't scale as well. And like the reason I use Rhino for Index is just for that Overguard, because I don't have to worry about energy. I just, as soon as the Overguard's about to pop, I make sure I go pick up an energy and I'm good. Yes. But here's the thing. Other things can rock roar. It's just subsumed, so other frames can run it. Like, there are tons of frames that people love to run, that they're main, and those people can sit there and list off all the ways in which that frame is amazing. And to them it is. Like, if you want to see a huge example of that, a mech engineer and his video just absolutely like just raising Lavos to the heavens, that Lavos is this amazing frame. It's one of the best frames in the game that nobody uses. And it's not. Besides the fact that it is a fundamentally different experience than what most people are used to and want to play in Warframe. Like, it is such a fundamentally different frame, but it's also just got issues beyond that. That's a lot of frames. There's a lot of frames that are good. Keyword good. Not great. Good. That are completely fine and okay to run, but a lot of the fans of those frames big them up like they are, you know, gods of Warframe. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but it's, you know, doing a little bit of hyperbole to get the point across, because like I said, I have a lot of newer players here usually. But a lot of times you have to think about it also from a perspective of what all is required to make that frame do what you do with it. Is it 100% that frame? Does it require rare mods, expensive to upgrade mods? Does it require a pet with potentially expensive or hard to get mods for the pet? Does it require specific weapons to run? Do you have to have a specific setup with the operator and its buffs and abilities? Some don't, some do, you know, and that's a lot of that's a lot of times what people don't think about when recommending something, recommending something to a newer player. There are frames that are easy, and then there are frames that takes a little bit to use. Then frames that you have to do so much shit just to make it insane. Yeah. I warn people, there are so many videos you can find of broken OP, you know, people going into the negatives in damage numbers, right? Like going so big in damage numbers that it flips back around to negative. But what's involved? What's the setup? Is it something that's only feasible solo? Is it something that has a lot of drawbacks, like extremely bad energy economy, or only works once and is great for a video clip or a TikTok, but not great as an actual build to run? I consider Rhino more costly to play Rhino, so for a mid-game player, Rev is something you can use base. Yeah. It's like, I tend to recommend mostly frames that either have a huge amount of utility. So a frame like, to me, Titania, the amount of stuff in this game that she can make either easier or outright cheese is amazing. Or a Necros or a Korra for farming. You know, or hell, these days, Hydroid, stuff like that, right? Just having that ability to increase your drops is amazing. And then for easy to play frames, like I said, I don't tend to recommend Revenant. I think it can hurt progression. But otherwise, there's a lot of amazing frames that don't take huge amounts of format, huge amounts of builds, that don't require all extra shit. You don't have to run the best weapons or else they're just not good enough, that a lot of people just don't use or recommend. BlackRock, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Once you have those more costly mods, Rhino becomes brain dead just like Rev. I wouldn't say he's brain dead. He's easy. But, you know, even when I'm running him at index, it's like I cast the 2 every, God, 1 or 2 rounds for the most part. Like, what frames are good, cheap, still path worthy? I mean, I am a sucker, and I make my biases known. Kalervo's my main. And he can be a little bit of a bitch to farm, but the nice part is, Kalervo requires very little build to make him amazing in still path. The only extra Kalervo needs is just a weapon with, or a melee with good crit. That's it. Otherwise, you can easily go into still path with Kalervo with what you'd probably have in mods once you got to still path. But that's a me suggestion. That's something I love. Oh, and I agree, Smokescreen. It depends on what type of still path content. I always tell people there's very few frames that are truly good at all still path content. And it's not necessarily that those can't do it. It's like I talked about at first, that technically every frame in the game can and has been taken to level cap. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it did take them several tries. Doesn't mean it doesn't take a huge amount of build all around it. And the same is true with running any still path missions. There are frames that are better at defense than others. There's frames that are better at survival than others. But generally, most nodes, I'm fine with Kalervo. Defense, especially if you're solo, defense can be a little bit of a bitch, depending on how good you are with his kit. Revenant's good just for the survivability aspect. That's really all Revenant has. Sure, you can do some builds with Dance Macabre, and if you get a whole lot of investment in him and everything around him, you can do some interesting stuff with that. The fuck was I even looking at here? Oh yeah, we're just looking at that. But otherwise, honestly, if I was to recommend, now the build, you mean clearing it, Saren, Ashley, about thinking all over my head. Yeah. Honestly, this is going to sound very weird. In terms of a frame that pretty much could cover every mission type quite well, would probably be Protea. Because she's absolutely amazing in any type of defense. With her ability to drop the shield nades, her survivability is pretty decent in most things on Still Path. Dispensary can cover the rest. I mean, yeah, in terms of a single frame, if you wanted to invest in a single frame. Now, again, Protea's investment to get her that good is not cheap. It does require some good mods, but Protea could very easily run all of Still Path. I can't think of, well, no, I really can't. Apart from, she might struggle a bit on interception. If you're solo, if you're with a team, it's even easier. Especially if you're with a team of people, Protea for Still Path would be absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's what I'd say for that one. Otherwise, like I said, Clairvo, Zaku, I wouldn't recommend. He is very particular to run. At times, like the friend who was with me earlier, Zadrius, when we were playing, he had Zaku for Elite Deep Archimedia, and if I had Zaku for Elite Deep Archimedia, that'd be the easiest freaking Elite Deep Archimedia run I've ever had. But he died several times, including at one point we had to actually do the Angel Revival. What about Hildren minus infested missions, lol? If you mean level cap, Rev, Dante, Protea, Rhino, Ash, Octavia, Loki, Nova, Haro. Hildren needs so much to make Hildren work nowadays. For if you're just talking about base level Steel Path, I mean, Hildren is who I ran through it. And even Infested, all you gotta do is put Burning Pillage on Hildren. I mean, I tend to live with Burning Pillage. I don't use Hildren much anymore. The only thing I tend to use Hildren for now is Netra Cells. And that's mostly because I tend to just not even wait for people to try to decide which of the 4 debuffs to grab. As Hildren, I can grab all 4. And it doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about any kind of energy hit. I don't even look what they are. I just grab all 4 and then run Netra Cells. Hildren that's pretty much all I use her for at this point. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I cleared, apart from Interception, because I have cleared all of Steel Path. Apart from Interception and defenses, which I would use more specialized frames for those, Hildren is what I got through the vast majority of Steel Path with. It was Hildren, along with, at the time I was running Phantasma Prime. By the time I was actually really heavily hitting the nodes, I already had Latum. And then I don't think I was using my melee much. I think I usually just ran with, oh God, back then I think I was mostly running with, which one is it? Hespar. Yeah, that was my build, and still to this day, this is pretty much the regular build. I've got Healthy Pillage, with Roar on it. This one works really well with Blazing Pillage, so it even affects the Infested. Strong Pillage, which, why is it missing a mod? Smokescreen, thank you for the follow. Thank you very much. On what SP con you doing, clearing a level cap. The frames will differ. Yeah, but again, Smokescreen, you gotta remember, most people don't do level cap. As I said, the only real benefit to level cap is just Void Cascade. And to be fair, honestly, I mean, the drop rates do get pretty spicy as you get up there, but, or just how many enemies I should say are spawning. But level cap, I tell people, until you're at a point, there's just not much of a reason. The only mission that I feel other than that is really worth going very deep into, and not even the level cap, because dear God, it hurts so much worse than fucking Void Cascade does to me, is Arbitration Survival. And that's because of the rewards. It's not because of what drops in the mission itself, but like, especially if you're short on Endo, that is one of it. I found the best ways to just get a crap ton of Iatan treasures. Dude, I don't know what because it's technically not Steel Path. But I don't remember what its actual modifiers are compared. But fucking hell, those hurt. Like, you get up to about the 1.5 to 2 hour mark, and that shit hurts. But yeah, if you wanted to see it, this is my main Hildren build I run. Oh no, here's my favorite one. I went to run it. I don't remember which one it was. I was like, ooh, survival's up, I'm gonna run it. And I had Zaku, and I went in it, and I was in there probably about 20-30 minutes, and I kind of was starting to look at my health, and I'm like, man, my health seems really low. Yeah, I had a bleeding dragon key on that I forgot about because I was doing Rivens earlier in the day that day. And so I was solo in a Steel Path, or solo in an Arbitration at 30 minutes. Like, oh, fuck. I almost always do my long runs with Zaku. My Zaku is, I mean, to be fair, Zaku is another very, very easy level cap frame. Well, if you get it built right and you know how to run her, sorry. But yeah, I tend to do Arbitration Survival with Zaku. I go into, I found most of the places Arbitration Survival spawns. I found some of the best rooms or areas to stand in, and just go stand there. I'll spawn in a Dante. I've got a 3-star Dante Spectre that I use for giving me Overguard for a little bit more protection when I'm solo. Spawn that in. Maybe spawn in a Healer Spectre as well. And just go invis, grab their guns, and chill. But as you can probably guess by the 6 Forma number up there, for the newer players, this is not a cheap build. Although if I remember right, there's an extra Forma on here because I swapped the build at some point, and so that's why there's an extra Forma that doesn't need to be there. I'm fairly certain you can drop this by 1 or 2 Forma. Speaking of it, we're sitting here talking about it. What's on right now? Defense. Nope. That's a negatory. Yeah, I want to say that I think I've looked at it before, and I think that build can drop to 5. I think 5. I don't know if it can go to 4. It might be able to. I don't remember. Oh, we are maxed. Okay, I needed to look because I think I have some dupes here. Would anybody like a free Archiplasmor Riven? Or Sestra? Oh no. Oh, yeah, I do. Or Vermisplicer. Dude, I keep getting duplicates so much here recently. I'm like burning through my ribbon transmuters, if that tells you how many duplicates I've been getting recently. It has been painful. I also, by the way, have the worst luck when it comes to rolling ribbons. Like, dear sweet Jesus, RNGesus despises me. Anybody low? I think I was playing for 13 hours. It happens, man. The Warframe addiction is no joke sometimes. I get so much crap. Fucking ribbons, dude. That is what, to tell you how bad my ribbon rolling is, that's one of my better ones I've ever rolled. If that tells you anything. It's decent, but it's far from amazing. I'm trying to remember if I ever did much with my dual talks to this one. Actually not sure. To be fair, I've very little dabbled in ribbons. There's a lot you have to consider with ribbons. The simplest, just for anyone out there who doesn't use these much, just simplest, if the ribbon is better and it does more stuff than a mod you already have in your weapon, and the weapon has decent disposition, or the ribbon is that good that even on a low disposition weapon it doesn't matter, then use the ribbon. If not, then keep rolling it or just get rid of it. Ribbons can also be a bitch just to, for one, to get what you want, two, to unlock them. Some of the things ribbons ask tend to be a little bit of a bitch to do. It just depends on the ribbon. Which reminds me, we were going to go do that. Let me hop back over to, that's where I had it on. Go ahead. Probably do that with Ash. Speaking of Ash,
All set. Service job.
maybe more for that. All right. I mean, the only sniper I even touch is Rubico, and the only reason I use Rubico Prime is just for Eidolon hunts. You don't tend to see snipers used very much. I know the Vectis. I'm trying to remember what other snipers there even are. Did Volcor Wraith also a sniper? I don't remember. Yeah, you're not gonna see much in sniping in this game. What do I want to run for this? If all you're doing is Rivens, it's also pretty good for Eidolons. Although, like, if you want to get real deep into Eidolons, it's not these days. Eidolons are done in a very different manner. If you look at Eidolon speedrun videos, it's absurd what you'll see, or play with someone who can do it. It's like they take down the Eidolon shield and pop a Synovia all in one thing. It is insane. But yeah, if you just need it for Ribbons, to be fair, if you just need it for Ribbon unlocking, even the Vectis would be fine too. Rubico or Vectis. My eye's been bugging me all fucking night. I think there's like an eyelash stuck in my eye or something. I don't fucking know. I hate these fucking defense. Don't let anything touch it. Because no matter what frame you bring, there's always, I swear to God, every time, the first try, there's always that one Eximus who sneaks up on your ass and touches it. I'm just going to run what I usually would run for this. It should be... where are you? My brain's not braining now. What the fuck? Oh, there she fucking is. My brain wasn't fucking braining, I swear to God. How come some frames have 2 numbers on them? Which numbers are we talking about? Swap. Talking about these ones right here? Those 2 numbers? Yeah, it's Archon shards. So for example, if we look at Saren, for example, and see these are the Archon shards that are on here. Yeah. So you would have met the things you're getting, well, the main source of Archon shards in New War. Yeah. What you'll have access to right away is going to be the Archon hunts every week. And then eventually, once you get your rank up enough with the Kavia, although you can get them from Netrocells too, and I don't remember what all you have to do to unlock Netrocells. Yeah. And Bird 3 on Deimos, and then Netrocells, and then eventually, and pretty far down the road, often will be Elite Deep Archimedia. Yeah, so once you get through Whispers in the Wall, that's the quest. You'll have access to Netra cells, which will be another set, or the ability to get more Archon shards. It's 5 chances a week. And then eventually you'll be able to buy an Archon shard from Bird 3. And then also eventually, like I said, once you get Elite Deep Arc Immediate, that is, as long as you can do it, it is an amazing source of Archon shards as well. So swappy. Let's go try to do this ribbon. I don't have to. Oh, it's on melee. I don't have to have anything else, right? And no damage alone or in solo mode. Okay, cool. We are not doing this on Still Path. I'm stupid, but I ain't that stupid. I really need to fucking name these. Don't want to run Horrid for this. All the Lich weapons go to 40. So Kuva weapons, Tenet weapons, and then also the Necromex go to 40 as well. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Not too bad. You haven't made the day. I'll be sure. All right. Have a good night, Smoke. Thanks for stopping in and trolling, jerk. I know I never knew the max was 40. Yep. Yep. It is 40, and it is painful. Let's get rid of you and you, and throw Scorch on, and boink. All right, let's go suffer. Let's see if this takes more than one attempt. Usually fucking does, but we'll see.
Distract the infested while a lone Tenno operative hunts for supplies. Set off the alarms to start.
Oh shit. I'm being stupid. Both so once you unlock the different landing crafts, they come with stuff, and that is your air support. So you have different air supports. Pretty much people tend to just live on Auric and Eye. It does, I think it's like a 200 or 250 meter search radius, and will mark things like Ayatan treasures, scannable, stuff like that on a map. There are different abilities from different ships, but as I said, most people tend to just live on that one. It's easier. And I'm doing some Rivens, Zadris. No, you can. Once you unlock a ship, you can put that air support on anything. Were you wanting to do something, Zadris? I'm fine with. I'm just doing Rivens because I had nothing else to do right now. Last I checked, it was defense. Yeah, it's defense for another 20 minutes.
Operator? Ordis wonders, what are you thinking about?
I think I usually use this one for it, if I remember right. Yeah.